So no, I just think it's funny how men think logically and not emotionally. It's just funny in all of this. It's like you never mention the emotional distress that comes from losing a person that is impacted your life so much, and not only yours but a kid's mother. It's like these kids are going to be emotionally, like, they can't just keep going on through life. It's like we as men, like, I am 110% agree. It's like my life does not stop if somebody dies. It's like me and death, we're completely, like, I am completely fine with it. If somebody dies, my life does not keep moving because it's just, sorry, my life keeps moving no matter what this person passes or not. I've so-called trained myself to believe that. But and like, I'm not saying this as an example of death versus me, like, and I went to jail for 11 days. I thought that things were going to work efficiently in my household. And it's like I came to the realization of it's more emotional breakdown. Like, my son stopped eating, and they stopped doing things. They were emotionally broken. And it's like, and that aspect of it is never really talked about when it comes to I was waiting for that to cross your mind. It's like putting them in daycare or family or this or that, but they lost their mother. And just to deal with that alone, you can't, or I mean, you can, but it's like you don't want to yell at them and you don't want to scream at them, and they're going to need you to be there as much as possible. And that's going to take away from your money. That's going to take away from your time, because you're going to choose to put your kids first. You're not going to have that logic when you see a broken child. And in your aspect, it's going to be multiple children of multiple ages that are going to be broken, because whether they lose you or lose their mother. And like, that's one aspect that it's just funny how, like I said, I've been in that situation. And it's like I had to hop on the phone with my son through prison and be like, bro, you got to eat and you got to sleep, and you're like, I'll be home soon. And it's like, when you go through that, it's a different type of ball game now. And it's not about money. It's not about figuring out a plan. It's about people that rely on you are going to be emotionally damaged. And like I said, it's funny how nobody, like, or sorry, no man ever thinks about that, because a woman doesn't think about the financial situation. She's like, oh, well, I got my mom and my this and my that. It's just her emotional status that she cares about, or these kids. But like, men never think of that aspect. And like, I'll be the first one to tell you, as a man who is not the is kind of the main provider in this house, yes, I think about logic. How are we going to run efficiently? I don't really care about people's emotions until that happened. And it's like, until you see that, until you experience that, you're like, damn, I got to change the way I go about life. I got to change, like that's why when he was saying that every 5 years, it's like you should have a conversation with not just you, but you should also have a conversation with your kids, like every 2 years, to see what their likes, because they might like the Hulk and how they like um um sports. They might like sports and how they like rock music. And I feel like people don't really take the time to sit down, and it doesn't matter which age they are. It's like I've always talked to my kids. It's like we've always spent at least 15 to 30 minutes of just picking their brains. Ever since they were 5 years old, I've just picked their brains, because that's how you get to know your, as stupid as might sound, as stupid as they might say, it's like they can say just about anything, and it's like I'll accept it because I'm their father. They said some far out that I'm never going to say on this podcast. But I would never have known that. I would have never have known that if I didn't sit down, because anybody who says they truly know their kids, like, I'm not saying that they don't know parts of their kids or their likes or their dislikes, but do you really, like, are you really willing to listen to the like they were telling me about that bear, that Huggy Wuggy, and it's like I had to go do research on this, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is what they were talking about. And it's like, and it's not my job to scold them for this, it's my job to teach them, like, okay, Huggy Wuggy might not be the best. Like, I don't care about if you have the bear or play the games, but you need to know that, there's a limit to what your mental capacity can handle at this age. And like, it's just that aspect of it that, like I said, I'm not saying that you didn't think about that, a part of you didn't, or you haven't thought about it now, but being in a situation of not having your significant other, I've been on that side too, on where I've had to look the kids in their face and be like, hey, it's just us and we're going to duke this out. But it's hard. It's hard to make food and your kids don't want to eat, or your kids don't have the strength to get up in the morning and go to school. And now you got schools calling you, asking you where these kids are at. And then they're sending truancy's letter. And you can't just explain to them that, hey, my kid is just not feeling it today. And because schools don't care about that. And they care about their paychecks. And you can't always pawn your like, well, see, me, I'm different. Like, I'm not knocking anybody, but my kids are my responsibility alone. Like, I chose to have these kids. I chose to have sex with a girl, birth these kids. These kids are nobody else's problem, and they haven't been in the last 6 years of their lives. Like,
hold on. I just want to give Adam a chance to answer, because I think he wanted to say something.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, Adam.
Oh no, I was saying that. Sorry, y'all. My phone cut off on me, so I missed probably about a good minute and a half of the conversation. But I came back. First, I was going to ask Keith, what the hell is a Huggy Wuggy? Because I feel like I should know this, or I should find this out now.